Oh, Linda, you got the prize for being the first today. I'm standing here because people said they can't see me. It's difficult when you're at the side trying to pop your head in. So I'm sure you can see me from here. I just got an announcement about St Mary's that we're allowed to go back, and we've decided to leave it till the 4th of August, or committee, and I agree actually. Give us a few weeks to get sorted. We're sending emails out to everybody. We've got the risk assessments from the centre, and we've also got our own risk assessment. The hall is massive, so you're going to be 2 metres away from anybody anyway, and it's all about common sense and social distancing then, isn't it? About the kitchen, I've got a key for the kitchen, don't tell anybody, just to clean the water pots and get water, but otherwise everything's been put in place for social distancing, so I can't wait to get back actually, and that'll be Tuesday the 4th of August at 10 o'clock. Okay, any new members want to join? St Mary's at Lawrence. We're sending emails out to everybody, we're ringing people up, and if you're feeling a bit unsure yet, then don't worry, just say you're not bothering for a while. I think the majority of people want to get back to normal-ish, if possible. We're all still here and alive, as the case may be, but so we haven't got anything as of yet, but I don't think we will anyway. It's just a matter of using common sense, isn't it, really? I suppose. Anyway, to carry on with today's demo, and another portrait. You're probably sick of seeing portraits. We'll have to do something completely different next one. But it's a young girl, so it's a lovely picture actually. But I want to do it in a more kind of a loose style. So I'll come round now, so you won't see me anymore, but you can hear me. Alright. And the sun's shining, so we can get in the garden. Okay, so if you look at a simple technique on this one, because it's just all the same tonal values in the face, in the features. So, yeah, it's mainly about the negative space around the head and things like that. And letting the colours blend and only doing a few kind of marks. She's got a little bit more chiaroscuro effect, so there's quite a lot of darks in the face. So we'll just see how we go on with that. We're using a limited palette again. And I'm going to use a pen that's not waterproof this time. You can use your own waterproof, doesn't matter, but you get a nice blurry effect as well. So you can make it quite drawly and painterly, if you know what I mean, so it's not too fixed. I'm using a big pencil first, you might have trouble, but I'm going to try and make you see the pencil marks. Similar kind of thing with this pen and wash, very quick one. So it's a lot of drawing and just a little bit of colour, really. Yeah? So not a lot going on though, but I did use some black ink. And this one's very simple as well, and that's kind of your first mid-tone values, and then I just left that as it was, okay. And another one more finished, which is no eyes on that one. Those are a few. And we're going to sketch here. I have cropped it a bit, I've changed it slightly, I've turned around and things like that. You can get these off the internet. We're not selling it for Christmas, so it doesn't really matter if you make a hash of it. It would be good if you can make it look like a young girl, or even a human being. It doesn't really matter. But getting the eyes and everything in the right place, which is difficult, I know. Just excuse me a minute, I'm just going to raise my easel. It's a bit low. Must have fell. That's back of my head. Okay, you should be able to see now. Yeah, that's all that. Alright, not many people today, but it's going on video again. So I'm winding down a few now and taking a few off the site. Keeping them on YouTube. I'm trying to put them on other sites so people can join my class online to watch them and work along. Anyway, that's another matter. If we look at the head, we need to get a chin on, so it's quite a big distance. So because we've got this piece of paper, it's watercolour paper, by the way. Every time we do watercolours, we use watercolour paper, unless I said we're going to use some gesso paper, which we've not done yet, but it's quite interesting. If you want to have a go at gesso paper, we can see what happens. And so I'm going to fill the paper. Now, I want to get that lovely shape of a neck, and if we look about where it is, it's about a third of the way down the picture, until like that. So if you put a line about here, that is where the chin's going to be, in this area. But because I'm drawing an egg shape, it's going off your picture because the hair is always on top of the egg. So we draw the egg first. You want this distance, yeah, from the edge of your picture, yeah, because that's where the eye's going to be. It is a slight tilt backwards, so you're getting a curve from the top of her ear to her eyebrows, from one eye to the other, the nose, the mouth, everything's curving away. But the first thing we need to do is draw that slight angle like that, which is where the head is just slightly at an angle. But it's only a straight line like that in the middle of this egg shape, okay? And then, I mean, you could start just by drawing the negative space, but if you get into a routine of doing it one way and then a combination of your own drawing skills, that's fine, you know. It doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as you get it, like I said, looking like a human being. So here at this stage, if her eyes would be the hair's on top of the eggs, so you always get that big shape of the hair up there, which is going off the picture, so it doesn't matter too much. But the eyes are always in the centre, so you want to get a line about here, okay? But because you're looking up at the girl, that needs to be 90 degrees, okay? Between that line and this line. So as you get a line there, and then because she's 3/4 view, right? The straight line would actually cut through the eye. So that would be the corner of the eye, really, if you wanted to do it that way. But this way, I'm going 3/4 view, so there's a curve on the egg like that. So as I turn the egg round, that line becomes a curved line, okay? So that gives the centre of her face. That's where her nose is going to be and protrude from, okay? And that will give you the shape of the eye. So this is the main reason I do it this way, because it positions the eyes for you instead of getting the eyes in the wrong place. And it's more difficult with watercolour. I mean, it is difficult anyway, but it's hard with watercolour because your drawing skills have to be spot on, more or less. Okay, so that is the curve of the eyes. That's a straight line, but we've actually got a curved line. It's not, you could do straight line, but it's can't, if you think of it as curved, because if you think from an ear, which is there, say, you're going to curve over for the eyebrows like that. Right. But that is the middle of the face. So if I put a socket in there, which is not as wide, but as tall, yeah, because that one is going around the corner, so it's narrower, and this, they all touch, and this one is the corner of her eye, so that's touching. So the straight line through the face, like I said, is inside that eye, you know what I mean? So here, because she's looking at me, and that's the socket, yeah, so that's a narrower socket, and then that's narrower still. You're just going around the egg. You have to kind of use your imagination, really. But if I put the pupil in the middle of that circle, she's going to look straight ahead. She's going to look at the camera, actually. But because she's not, she's looking at me. So you move the socket, you move the pupil over, and then you put the iris in. So I'm doing this with a pen. I'm not bothered about, you know, too many lines and things like that, because I'm going to leave more or less the lines on this. We can see the width of her eyelid, which is there, and you can also see the eyebrow, which is coming down to that, and that sits on top of the socket, you can see. So it gives you that position. We're getting a shadow right in the corner of her eye. You've got a lovely light there, and we get this shadow. Don't draw the bottom eyelid in, which people do, but you can draw the shadow in there, and then this one overlaps this one. So the bottom eyelid usually gives you a little bit of skin, yeah. So I just draw a little corner bit there, where you can see where it overlaps slightly. But she's looking at me, and that's the main thing. And then over here, we've got the same thing. We don't put the pupil in the middle, we put it to one side. That moves the iris over. Put the iris in nice and big. It's a child, yeah, young girl. The curve of the top eyelid, straight line, then a curve. That disappears into this shadow here, which is going to be joined up with the eyebrow. It's quite dark. And then the eyebrow sits there like that. And you can see the width of the top eyelid like that. And again, you can just see her eyelashes, and the bottom eyelid comes from underneath the eyelashes. So she's looking at you, okay? The way we find the tip of the nose then is to draw a line down from the eye. So if you do a line down, you can just see a bit of light in her eye there, in her iris. Do a line down from here, in that angle, follow that line. So you need to be kind of parallel with that slight angle. And then that is going to hit the tip of the nose. Now the distance is mainly, you've got a kind of equilateral triangle. Some people do it like this. Okay, so you've got the tip of the nose is going to be kind of here. So you're going from there to there, and then you're seeing this nice light area and a shadow. So you're coming like from there. So where you go inside the eye, drop a line down again, and that's where the nostril's going to be. Okay, so you're looking at quite a big nostril, and then you're seeing this lovely shadow here, and that's going to be the curve of a nose there. Alright, so if you think about a wedge shape first, like that, and then the angle of the nostril there, and the angle of the nostril there, that will position her nose. You can see the bridge of her nose, so you're getting that shape, okay? Like that. And then you can see, because you're looking up at a slight like this, you've got the philtrum, which is a little triangle shape there, which leads you to the centre of the mouth. Once you get that, you need to again follow that line parallel, and that is the centre of the mouth. So there is the dark on the top lip, and that's the thickness of the top lip, and it's quite big. And then we draw lines down from there. So if I draw a line from here, the mouth's wider than that, because it's more or less about here actually. So if I draw a line down about there, that is more or less the thickness of a top lip. Okay, so you draw the top lip. This is a shadow which goes into the eye, and then it goes into the eyebrow. So all that is in shadow, and this is the shadow on the nose. So we don't want to have a line around the nose, we just want to have a shape. So we're going to use paint to do that, okay, to do this shadow bit. And the eye here, you cannot see where it disappears behind the nose, isn't it? And then from here, you're getting a shadow there, so that's the nostril, like that. That's the angle of the top lip, because it gives you that lovely curve. And then that goes around the corner, and we can't see that. Again, you can drop a line down. And here's the middle of the mouth, middle muscle, corner muscle, and the corner muscle there. And then the bottom lip, it's got this lovely crease in the bottom lip, the fold where the two muscles meet, like that. And that takes you to the shadow of our chin. Now, you don't have to go to the bottom of the egg. We use the egg to position our eyes, okay? So you don't have to go to the position of the bottom of the egg. We just, if you're drawing the thing, you're drawing the picture, and if things are wrong, you move it. You know, you don't stick to your drawing. Your drawing is just kind of a reference for what you want to achieve, and then you get a shadow on the top lip, and all that blends into the shape of a face. So here, I've taken that up because she's only got a short chin from there to there. Okay, and it's actually because she's tilting backwards. You can see the back of her head. So yeah, we've got that nice shape on the nose, and the light and the shadow in there. So these are things you need to keep. Shadow on the nose. You're going to have the eyebrow and the top eyelid and the forehead, which is going to come out from the eyebrow. Then it'll go in like that, and then it comes out from here. Cheekbone, a lovely curve past the mouth, so we curve past the mouth like that. Think about angle, and then we get the curve and a slight flat area on the chin, you know, because all that is going to be in shadow. cross hatch it will help with all that's in shadow. Yeah? Doesn't really matter. I know we're using watercolour, but we're not bothered too much with this one. If you look from the eyelid, the eyebrows and the eye, that just overlaps the eye slightly, so it comes from there, yeah. And look at the distance from here. So you could say, you know, that distance is the width of another eye, actually. So that is where you need to get that ear at the side of a head like that. We can see the thickness of that lovely shape of her ear and the shadow. You have the bottom of her ear usually on level with the bottom of the nose, but not always. Doesn't matter. People have different faces. That's where you get this nice shadow that leads you to the jawline, like that. Okay, and then the back of her neck, which comes from the back of the ear down like that. Lovely curve, and this bit of her neck is coming from the middle of her chin. So again, we got this lovely curve. If you want to put top on, that's fine, and the other side's in shadow anyway, and you can draw the shadows as well. You can always make that look like wool or whatever. That goes around the back of the neck, and then you get the thickness of the collar, and then it goes away into a corner. Okay, so here we get the shape of that ear and the dark inside of it, which is like that. Again, if you want to cross hatch it or scribble it in, it's entirely up to you. Here we've got the hair, it's just come down to, and at the back of her head, you've just got the darkness of her hair, which is going to kind of blend into the neck in places. Okay, and then here we'll look at that distance. We'll come into about there with the forehead, which is like that, which you've got these lovely curly bits, and that goes off the picture, something like that, and all that goes into the rest of the hair and things. So quite a bit of, and then we get the shape of the side of her head like that, and the shadows. Now there's certain lines I'm going to kind of go by. Okay. Mainly we want to keep that jawline, definitely. Distance between there and that, so you've got a lovely light area on the cheekbone, which is like that. Okay, you can draw that in if you want, just to keep the light there. We've also got light here and an angle, so you get a light, then an angle, and that gives you a change in tone. If you want to do all the changes in tone, that's fine. Yeah, it's good practice just to play about with it. And then from here, don't draw a line all the way under a lip, because you make it look harsh. You just do the darker bits like that, and then there's a lovely light area here, and then it's quite dark at the corners. Okay, and that's more or less it. Yeah, we'll take the neck in a little bit, nice and slim. Okay, and then I'm going to use a rubber first just to get some of my lines out of the way, because I want to keep some of the scribbly bits, but I don't want any of these straight lines appearing when I've finished the picture, if I can help it. So you get this, you know, it's like that curved one there, you can get rid of that. And if you've got everything in the right place, it should look like a human being. If you've not, it's got to help you. Anyway, just practice, you'll get better. And then I'm going to draw a few shadowy bits. I've got quite a bit of time, so don't worry about it. And that blends into the rest of our face, really. Don't worry about likenesses, like I said, it doesn't matter that much. It's practicing drawing like that, and the shape, and the softness, and things like that. So what I'm going to do, I can do it in pen, and I'm going to use my non-waterproof pen. Okay. So, because I want some of this to run. You don't have to do everything in pen. I'm just doing her eyebrow, for instance. The thickness of her eyebrow, which comes down to about here, and that lovely shadow in the corner of her eye, like that. this is going to run. Now, if you're scared of things running, don't use one of these pens. But you know, it's not good. It's just going to soften edges and things. So don't worry too much. And then the thickness of the eyelid, like that. The pupil here, and then the iris again. It's a little bit smaller on that side because she's going away from you. You can see the eyelashes, corner of her eye with that and that shape as well. And that comes into the nose. We're going to have a flat bit on the nose here where it's darker, okay? And then here it's kind of lighter. You can see the changes in tone, and that's all we need to look at. The nostril, quite big in nostrils, yeah. That's why we used to shove peas up when we were kids. And then the corner of a nostril there. The top lip and the crease in the middle that's going away from you, and the darkness in the mouth, and then you got that nice shadow on the bottom lip which goes like that and then disappears. We can just slightly put in that shape of the other side of the face. We've got the forehead here which comes out slightly, and then you get the curly hair that goes into all this area, okay? The hair frames the face, so you know, don't worry about getting it spot on, but if you can get the shape right, it will frame that face, make it look lovely and young, which is what we want, if anything. Shadow in the ear, if you want to put that in to that curve, and then that curve. Okay, and then we're using a limited palette, so you've got the shape here, which is the shadow on that ear. That's the nostril on this one, the triangle bit there, and then that bit changes tone. Here it's a soft transition from light to dark. Get a nice negative space in the background. You can leave this cross-hatching, which I think I will do, and then work on, where's my other rubber? Work on the lighter areas, yeah? So I've got this lovely light, like that. So some of these shapes are just giving me a direction of where, I mean, the eyes are not pure white, they're dark, yeah? They're in a shadow. So when you paint them, there's a lovely light here underneath, but we could lift the colour off later. We can give her brown eyes or whatever. So I'm just, if you're looking at this shape from here, we're inside that eye, very dark there, and that's where the light bit is. So you get a lovely highlight, then the nose, and then the front of it. Okay? Don't worry about anything too fussy. Try not to have a line there. I'm going to do the neck a little bit slimmer, and then the same here, because give it a nice slim neck, get rid of that line, and we'll have the shape of like a Adam's apple, things like that, so you're getting that nice curve. And the back of, like I said, this jumper she's wearing, if you want to, and then all this disappears into the background, so something like that. Okay, and all we have to do is throw some paint at her, see what happens. Right, I'm going to just lower it a little bit more. Don't know why, it must be growing. It must be shrinking, I mean. Stand back. Make sure you get everything in the right place. And squint. Yeah. Right then, colours. As long as I leave some highlights, the main thing. You can use a bit of wax just in top of her eye there. There is a little bit over here, but I don't want to have it too much. And then the side of her nose here, you've got an area that's pure white near enough. Here, just a little bit. It's not the tip, it's there. And then we look at the top lip. if you're in pencil, just be careful you don't touch your pencil. The top of the bottom lip, and then the bit where, just rub that out, the bit where the crease is in a bottom lip, which is quite light there, yeah, like that. And we don't really need to do anything else apart from, we want to put some on over here. Inside of here, we're going to get that, you get that lovely shiny light area, don't you, inside the ear. So just inside there, where the dark bit is, and then the top of the ear, just like that. Okay, nothing else. If you want to put some on just at the bottom of the neck, so you keep the hair from going into all of it, and that should be alright. I'm not to be scared today. We're going to use burnt sienna, which is the warm bit. I've got a black and white image, but I've also got the colour version. And like I said before, if you get the colour version, you're trying to recreate the colours on the picture, so you know, just be careful. You don't want to do that too much, because I'm just trying to use different colours for different tones. If I rub this out a little bit, so I just know where that light is here. So I'm going to use white burnt sienna first, okay? And her hair and her forehead is going to be in burnt sienna. We get this lovely warmth. Let's get some tissue first. Just lovely warmth over here, which is actually changing into that tone. Now can you see where the pen's running? Yes, that's what's going to happen. So the pen is running, and we can leave that to blend in that side of the head. We do need some warmth, so just leave that for now. Coming into the eye, yeah, and darkening a little bit, and then we go into this eye. You can keep the softness on top of the forehead there, and as we're coming down to this side of the face, we've got a lovely light here which goes into the eye, at the top of the eyelid, and then that's where Neil went over it. I've got the light on her face, so I'm leaving white paper just there. As you get under the eye here, can you see how it's running, blending? I'm going to add more alizarin. So as I'm coming down, I'm just adding other colours, which mainly alizarin. We don't want to use a lot of blue in, just like Catwoman. A lot of blue in the features with the young girl. And she looks like she's got a big shadow. Okay, here we can add more light and go a bit cooler as well, so it's more alizarin, keeping that bridge, keeping that highlight on the side of the face, which is coming down to the chin. We don't want too much light on the chin. In the ear, they're usually warmer. It's usually got this warmness to it. You can see I'm having to make up the colours really. I'm thinking about cool and warm, but I'm also thinking about that if I start using too much blues and greens, for instance, it's going to alter the picture. So I'm just using warm and cool. We get to the cheek, and it makes a lovely light around the nose, and then that blends in to the side of the mouth. You can see? So all the time, big brush, stops you being fussy. Squint your eyes, look at the image, alright, and then just add colour. As we're coming over here now, we can go a little bit darker under the nose. What's happening is my pen is helping me to make these tonal values, yeah? These darker tones, and that's what I'm relying on actually, rather than a lot of blue or anything like that. So here, going into the chin. If you're quick as well, you can take off, alright? Keep things moving if possible. Down to the mouth, which is all one tone really. That's nice and soft as well. Take that into under the chin. Yeah. This is adding a few shadows, and then we're going into the neck. Yeah. Might not do a lot to the face. Like I said, keep that lovely warmth here. take the blobs out, get in there, like that. Go over the eyes. We can give her some bit of sienna there. She's going to have brown eyes, isn't she? Like that. And we'll add some more kind of shadows, especially in there where the shadows are. Right, blend that in. So yeah, that's really nice dark shape. That's where the pen's helping me. And then here we've got a lightness on the back of the neck. Just a little bit of warmth towards the back. Things like that. Yeah, add tones there. We're going to alizarin. Just like that. The curve and the alizarin. Very, very light wash. Okay. We can blend and soften areas like that. Top of the neck. That's quite nice actually. Blend that into where the ear is. Nice softness. I can leave that little bit. Just change my brush. I just want to get this kind of shape on a cheek there, which goes a little bit darker, so we can leave that in. Looking at the top lip now, we've got quite a few things going on. We've got that wax where I put the wax, and we've also got this little cool shape side of the mouth. You can do a lot of it while it's damp, and then it's going to come a point where you're going to have to let it dry a little bit. So here, inside that eye, it's going to be really dark. If you want now, we can start adding a bit of blue just to our shadow areas, which is that. So it's blue and alizarin. Alright, still watery, and still want to be able to see through it. And as the shadow comes down there, it goes under the chin, under the cheek. Okay, I'm looking at as well under her nose. So here we've got that shape, which is a dark area just under the nose, like that. That's where the light is, so I've got a bit of blue there as well. That's where the light is here. There's a ball of colour. And we're going to use some sienna as well, because there we've got a sienna shape, and then that goes into the nostril. The nostril's a lot darker, so I've not done that yet. And then we see this shape on the nose. Add a bit of alizarin too. So this is the front, which is in, it's not catching the light, it's just in a little bit of tone, where it's a transition from one area to another. See? Soften the edges. Soften that. So you can see the light on a nose, and we can do a lot of kind of glazing later. Around the mouth, again, a bit of alizarin, touch of blue, just to darken it. And you've got your sienna as well, so that warms it up. So have a look at the top lip. We've got warmth on that side, so I can add a bit of alizarin, sienna, sorry, not alizarin. Bit of sienna and a bit of alizarin gives you a warm colour. And because it's a top lip, slightly in shadow, and we can take that down into the bottom lip and the side of the bottom lip. I'm going to darken that later. And then you've got that shape in the middle, and then underneath again, nice and dark. That goes into the mouth, and again you've got some warmth there, where you get the light on the lip, and that blends into the shadow on the chin. Just something like that. Use the brush to blend. Okay, and soften edges, and then we're going to darken things in a bit. Oh, that's going to dry quite a lot, really. Okay, so while it's drying, I'm going to add some hair and other things actually. Soften that for the neck. Okay, and because the hair's quite dark, I'm going to add blue like this, but I don't want it going into the face. I can help it. So I've got blue here, and it's going into the shadow here on that side of the face. Okay, and then down to the side of the head, and then we get in these little marks. Okay, around the ears. That's going to blend. Use a big brush, can you see? You can blend that into a forehead. It's like that. Top of the forehead, so it's quite dark. I'm going to go darker with it, don't we? On the back of her head. Bit of alizarin as well with your blue. You know, get the shadows going. Take that off. I don't want it running down the face. Back of her ear. You can use some sienna as well now for some of the warmth in the top of the head. Let that blend. And the hair. And squiggly bits. Okay. I think she's going to be older than she actually is, but no matter. Top of the face. Red sienna, bit of blue, so that would give you a burnt kind of burnt umber, as well as a Payne's grey colour, yeah. Which is the back of the neck. It's like that. Okay, I'm just going to darken where it hits the forehead. It's quite dark there. Take off a bit of light from the tissue, and then this comes down again into that area in the forehead. And at the side of the face, where the hair is. No salt on this one, unless you wanted it. Tilt it up a bit. Use a big brush. Add more blue. We're going darker. We're going darker. Like that. And we're also going darker in the eyes. So there we go in here again, inside the eye, okay, that shape, dry your brush, under the eye, like that. Take it off, put it on, under the bottom eyelid. I've got a really dark shape later, so I'll make that sienna. And the eyebrow, nice and dark. Inside the eye, which blends into the rest of the nose. Okay. So we just use the brush to drag it down. Go across the eye as well. A bit more blue tones. And under the eye, inside. Quite a dark shape, man. Big brush. Lift off as well. And under the eyebrow, so we've got this, which blends. Soften the edges, stand back. We can go darker here as well, that needs darkening. So a lot of the idea of doing these kind of portraits is you want to get the subtle changes in the face and then use the dark. So you start adding start adding toner values, because you're going from light to dark, aren't you? So just keep it nice and light there. Just move over here a little bit, because we need that dark shape, so it's come to about here actually. Yeah. And that's the shadow in my brain's not working. I used to be able to talk and paint at the same time. That's the shadow here again, which I did earlier, which has gone a little bit too light. And the bit on the nose. You can keep doing these. Just want to keep the blue away now. They're washes of tone, okay? Going that way. And on the nose, take the light off. This is going to blend into the rest of the forehead. It's like a punk rocker. And a bit more sienna, because that's dry, a bit of glazing into the forehead. Keep that light there. Keep this a little bit lighter. Alright, I'll bail that off a little bit because I want to hurry up and get some dark tone. Time to get it on. So now we're going into thicker colour. Dry your palette a bit, clean your palette, thicker colour, alizarin, ultramarine, got burnt sienna as well. Not mixed together, you can do, you know. Your dark is dark again, it's going to be your green. Anyway, I want to get the eye looking nice and dark. So, a bit of blue coming in here, into the corner, and then you get the ring around the iris there, which is nice and dark. Pupil's going to be nice and dark. We're going to try and keep that little bit of sienna bit, but you can always use goulash later. And the light at the top of her eye there, and that's the eyelid overlapping like that. This is the shadow again, which is a little bit darker. Soften it. You can keep a bit of green and red handy for really strong darks, which is like the ring around the iris, top eyelid, pupil, same things. The nostril, so you're getting that shape. Okay, you can't see this one, you can just see dark curvy, which we're blending. Corners of the mouth are going to be dark like that. When we do the corners, we also, colour. We also want to blend that into the rest of the top lid so it goes darker like that, and then it softens like that. Same over here, the middle muscle. I love this shadow in the middle, and then you're getting reflected light, so it's going a little bit lighter. Just like that. Shadow in the middle of the lip again, bottom lip. You get this lovely, and then because she's curving away, the bottom of that lip's going down, you see. Like that. We'll do this eye. Put a bit too much wax on there. Anyway, you can see the eye. A bit more blue and red mixed together, and then in that area is a lot of shadow which we can't see, can we? We can't see that bit of a nose. And then there's a shadow of an eye which goes into the eyelash That's quite dark anyway. There's no whites of the eyes. Yeah, you can't see the whites. All you can see is that dark shape, and then it goes a little bit darker, and then we can blend that with a brush. Keep the shadows. We can take that off. She's got a nice reflected light on her cheek actually. I'm going to use some alizarin again for the nose. We're going a little bit darker here, which is that bit, and then that blends into a nostril. And it comes over here. And then the top of the nostril. Okay. I keep forgetting you can't talk to me. Side of the nose, little dark shade there. Be careful with creases, you don't want to overdo them, especially with kids and that. You just want to create a little shape. Top of the top lip. It's the same things all the time. The shadow from there down to the top lip, which is dark there and then it disappears. So we just blend that with the brush and just soften the edges. A lot of it is blending later. We'll drag that into that eye again from the eyebrow. It's quite dark. Quite like the way it's blending there now. Go a little bit darker here. The ear, what are we doing? Quarter of an hour, loads of time. Like I said, the ear's quite warm. So there's a bit of red, a bit of alizarin and a bit of sienna mixed together to give you that dark tone inside that ear, and the way it shapes. Like I said before, I love the way you get these shapes within the ear and the bottom of the, that's coming that way, isn't it? And keep the light there. If you look at the bottom lip, got a little bit of a light area that blends in, and then that's the shadow. Kind of curves around there, and we got that little bit. It disappears again under the bottom lip. Okay, we go a little bit darker with our eyebrows. Kind of dry brush actually. Dry brush and a bit of what am I saying? A bit of sienna and ultramarine. Again, middle of the nose is slightly darker. She's got a bridge. And then it goes darker still as she gets to the bottom of the nose, which is here, you can see. And that's where you're getting some reflected light there actually. This is where noses are made up of quite a few different shapes. If you soften it with the brush, looks nicer. You could actually use a pen for the strong darks if you wanted to. I'll do the crease and the top of our top eyelid there. She's got one over here as well, which is darker. That eye disappears into nothingness. Corners of her mouth. Don't draw a full line from one side of the mouth to the other, or you'll lose that softness. It's dark in the corners, and then it curves a bit, and then it goes light again. Okay. soften it. I'm going to use a bit of blue for the shapes in her hair. So I want that side to just disappear into shadow, really. I know it's got curly hair and you can't do every bit, but just do a bit of blue for the dirt in that eye, because you can't see any whites. The only thing you can see is the thickness of the bottom eyelid, which you get in where the eyelashes are, which goes a little bit like that. And soften that. And back. Middle sized brush. As we look here, it goes a little slightly darker there, and then we blend into the rest of the face. So we use the tone and the water just to blend it in, and then you go into the cheek there, so doesn't matter too much. And then under the chin, the only problem with doing this is you don't want to have a strong line, so we just do the under bit of the chin, bit of alizarin. So here is the darker bit. Just as you get to the neck, so it's quite dark here. Yeah. And then we can do that kind of dark. Think about warm and cool all the time. And where there's a cool bit, there's a warm bit probably next to it, or a light bit. And this is how we add the shapes in the neck. So you get this, the muscles underneath, and what have you. Yeah. Soften edges. Lovely long neck. We can emphasise a bit of alizarin, but yeah. I'm going to emphasise this lovely dark at the back, because that's going to bring out the neck and hair. Whenever you use burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, you get a burnt umber. So you can get these small brush, lots of kind of, can use that for the back of the neck as well, because that's where a jumper is. It's up to you if you want to paint the jumper. Sometimes it's hard to just leave it kind of linear like that, if you want. And again, not overdo it, but always overdoing it. Kind of dry brush strokes again at the end, near the end, or near the bit where you're going to stop and then look at it later. She's got lovely dark hair as well. I can use a different colour actually. I just use a bit of cerulean for the shadows. I like to blend that and let it run a bit. I do like the way the pen blends and runs. Quite interesting. I can leave that quite a bit. few curls and her hair and the way it's kind of coming out here. I'm going that way. Shadows. Darks up there. Bit of sienna as well. You have some warmth in the darks. You have to kind of blend these into the side of her head. She's got these little bits of hair. Scratch out. Not really scratching, ever. You could scratch out for the light. That must be time, the sun's here. So, chin. Soften the edge. Stand back. To put it up a bit. When you're looking from an angle, it's murder. It's not bad. I need the side to be bigger, just wider. Now, like I said, you could use a nice felt pen. I've got a lovely black one, blue one here. This is a watercolour marker. It comes in handy for doing detail, but it still is watercolour. And the bottom of her eye. Shadow. The best way to do it might be a little bit of goulash. A good old goulash. Get some goulash. I mean, I've already got white on the little bit. And if I mix sienna with that and a clean palette, it was some nice. I've got a bit of light there, but nice blue, brown in the bottom of the eye, just to make her look at me. On the side of the cheek again. So that's where you get this really nice bony cheek. We have to kind of blend it in, get rid of it. And then you get the shape of the side. Anyway, I kind of like the pen because it's you've got these lovely shapes as well. And you can see the little triangle on the picture, which blends into the rest of the forehead. But a little bit lighter over there. What was I going to say? Quite like that pen. And the way it bleeds, so I've used that quite a bit. And add a few more darker bits. Stand back. Right, leave it, 1 o'clock, quick one. Bit of blue. Inside that eye. Right, under the bottom eyelid, don't give her a black eye. Stand back. Anyway, if you let me know if there's any inches, low inches watching. I know Rosemary's been in touch with you. If you let me know definite, if you want to come back on the 8th, the 4th, sorry, and then we'll do a bit. Try and get back to normal. Whatever normal is. I suppose it's whatever you get used to, isn't it? Really? So, yeah, gone quiet, so that means what? Overworking. Just do this on a okay. Might need a bit of lifting, I might just soften the nose. It's got a lovely shadow. I'm going to have to clean water now. At the side of her eye, I've actually gone over slightly. So this is, you can just wet the paper with a brush and bring off the light, yeah, as well. Isn't it murder? Yes. Soften. Shadow. Right, take the tape off and leave that. Throw some salt on if you want, whatever. Top of eyelid's not that. I've not touched that, have I? Why don't you tell me? Because it's quite dark here. And then it goes dark over here. fencing. Anyway, let it dry and then turn it to the wall. I'll turn it upside down and show any faults. If there's any faults, then you can edit them. It's usually make the eyes bigger or something like that, slightly. There you have it. Great one. Okay, I've been taking stuff off the page as well now, I'll show you that, just to get less and less for when we do start going out of this. But I will carry on with some of the lessons. Now I've found a new way of doing classes. Okay, thank you very much. I might do a little bit more to it, but I'm going to leave it now because it's wet. And then finish, or I'll put it back on actually, after. And have a go, alright? Don't worry about the lightness, just have a go. Make her look like a human being, or a child. I know she's lovely, but don't just do brown, try and do other colours. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and see you on Wednesday. It's Monday today, isn't it? Yeah, Wednesday. Bye now.